Hi everybody, this is Tom with Culture Chap. So today I'm encouraging you to give away your ideas. Not all your ideas, just the ideas that you know that you will never do. Whether you're a director, an artistic director, an actor, somebody in administration, it doesn't matter. Give away your ideas. Now see this poster behind me? That is August Wilson's 7 Guitars. I will never direct that because I would be taking that director chair away from a black director, and that's not good. That's very bad. They deserve to direct that play and most of August Wilson's plays. I I couldn't do it. Now, last week we talked about a play that has got some controversy, although it's amazing and it won the Pulitzer Prize, which is Night Mother, a play about doing away with yourself. Pardon me. The I gave away my ideas about what to do with Night Mother, which was it's a play about suicide, and it's a very good. It's two roles for two women, and they can be any age, but they should be older. This is great. There's not a lot of older women parts out there, so you should do it. But if you're scared about spending too much money on it because people won't come, then perhaps the idea was, I said in the video, you should do it for less time, unfortunately, and you should do it minimalistically, very minimalistically. Most people build a whole kitchen for it, but do you need that? Because it's mostly discussions on a sofa or around a table with kitchen stuff. You can have just a wall of cupboards that is one color, that you pull those kitchen items you need, those props out of. I'm not going to direct this play. I believe someone should direct this play who's had experience with mental health problems or helping people with that. Another play I won't direct is Othello. I should not direct that because, again, I'm not black. Now, there's a lot happening in Othello, and I've given away my ideas about Othello several times. Not the whole play, but my main thing I always tell people is that Othello is not the only black man in town. That's not what Venice is at this point in history, and it's so glaringly wrong. If Venice is an international city, international trading port, and Africa is right below Italy, then there will be lots of other kinds of people of all colors in town. This is just his story. Also, we in the States have an idea of what a Moor is, which is not historically accurate. Okay? Moors are a combination of African and Arabic blood. Now, does this mean you have to cast someone Arabic? No. Does this mean you have to cast someone who looks like Denzel Washington? No. Should you cast someone who's very dark skinned? Probably. Should you cast someone who is taller? Probably. You should need to cast that story in a way that makes Othello seem like a threat, even though he's not. He's the victim of a narcissist who's really an opportunist, and he believes the hype and goes a little crazy. That's the story. Now, what he looks like and what everybody else in town looks like is up to you. But realize what people in Africa look like and cast accordingly. You know what I mean? There's so many things that I have ideas about that are plays and musicals and operas that I will never direct because I'm wrong for that part. I'm wrong to do that show, that story. Even if I did stories like Hold These Truths, which is a great story, it's one character, it's one actor, a Japanese American put into an internment camp in the United States in the 1940s. Now, I've seen all kinds of different directors direct this play, and I would love to direct this play, but what they do is they have the American experience and they get people who have done the internment camps in the 40s as their advisors. Okay? They also get someone who can pronounce all the Japanese words completely correctly. This is extremely important for this show, for this character. Director is God. Knowing everything doesn't always work. Theater is collaborative. So I believe that I could direct that show if I had the right team with me. Do you see what I mean? I've seen the show a few times and I have my own ideas about it that I won't give away because one day I'd like to direct this show. It doesn't matter who you are. Theater is so collaborative. If you're a fan of theater, if you work in theater, if you work in opera, if you work in ballet, you've seen a lot of shows. You've seen a lot of things. The public has seen a lot of things. Someone I was speaking to in Edinburgh recently was saying she just saw a ballet, which she wasn't quite into ballet, but she loved the set so much. And it was a short ballet, and it was a very well done story. And it was just a giant tree on stage. A massive, massive tree with a massive, massive trunk. And she said it was incredible. The set was incredible. The story was incredible. She read all the reviews. And I kept thinking, when can I put a massive tree on stage? Now, that's not something that I should go like, I'm searching for a script that's going to contain a giant tree. But when the time comes, am I at a theater that can afford to do that? What does that mean? Does that work for the entire story? You know what I mean? I like that idea. And she gave that idea away to me, which I had never thought about before. What story does this work with? Can Romeo and Juliet be done with a massive tree on stage and some other elements? What would that be like? That's interesting. I did a My Fair Lady at the Oregon Shakespeare Festival, where it was very minimal. It was mostly about costumes and the acting and the singing. And it was an orchestration that was pared down. So it was just two grand pianos and a violin on stage. And I loved it. It was wonderful. I had never thought of that musical with orchestration that was with just a few instruments, but it really worked. So when it came time for me to direct my own version of Little Women the musical, I said, what if we just make it a chamber musical? I spoke to my music director and I said, what about on stage visible is a grand piano, a cello, and a violin? And we discussed like maybe it should be a French horn, back and forth, back and forth. Maybe it should be a flute. But we went with cello, violin, and a piano. Just three instruments. Can this massive orchestration of this musical work with just that? Can it become a chamber musical? Okay. And it could. And it was well received, and we got wonderful reviews, which is a lot, the whole show coming together. But the music director was praised for this idea, which I could care less that it was my idea first. Because I told him, I gave away this idea. And now, as he does the show in different places, a few times after this, he has suggested, let's have a chamber musical. Again, my idea, but who cares? It's an idea that worked. It's better in these economic times to have less musicians, unfortunately. Even though I want all musicians to have a lot of work, right now, maybe not. You know, it's a good idea that was given away that's spread. And I didn't do the exact idea I saw the first time with My Fair Lady. I didn't copy. I was just influenced by. Okay? So your ideas you think of, write them down. Maybe they're not fully thought of, what this could be for a show, but give them away. You know, it doesn't matter that you're working in theater administration or that you're just a fan and you don't work in the theater or the opera or the ballet at all. Go, what if this? Oh, you're doing a ballet of Romeo and Juliet? I had this idea. I saw this video from this brilliant man about doing Romeo and Juliet with just a giant tree in the middle and then the other elements slide it on and off when you need them. What do you think? What would that be like? Juliet's not on a balcony. She's on a tree ledge. How does she get there? Does it connect with her house? What could that be? That's interesting. Romeo hides from people. There's the killing. What would this be like around a giant tree with a ballet? That's interesting. Maybe it works, maybe it doesn't work. Give that idea away if you're never going to use it. The thing is, what are you never going to use? It has to be the obvious stuff. I will not direct Seven Guitars. I'm a fan of that show, but I'm not going to direct it. I know that. It would be extremely unfair to take that from the person who deserves it. I know I will never direct that show. I'll give away the ideas I have about that show to see if they work with whoever I know that is directing it or choreographing it or whatever. Okay? Your ideas matter. All of our ideas matter. Theater, opera, all of it is a collaborative art form. Our ideas matter. What you think matters. That will entertain the public that is different. There are too many people that often don't speak up with their ideas that they consider too out there. What if no one had spoken up about their way out ideas about Cats, the musical, or a chorus line, which was considered extremely different for its time? What if the person who first had the idea about Jewish people on stage in a shtetl had never said, I know this is weird. What if they took that out of their vocabulary? What if they said, I believe a man who is in a shtetl that talks about his daughters and his life, I think it would be a great musical, and you could call it Fiddler on the Roof. Huge, massive, massive, massive hit. These all came from people that had ideas that weren't fully thought out, or they were, and everybody else had to come in and go, that is a good idea. That doesn't quite work for this, but we'll hang on to it. Hey, we're in the middle of it. Remember that original idea? We're going to come back to that and make it work. Okay. You're okay. Your ideas are okay. If you're not going to use them, don't keep them to yourself. Write them down, toss them out there to the right person when the time comes. It's a good thing. All right? Please like and subscribe and come back for more. Thank you.